Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 2020 Driver Career Mode with Ferrari, episode number 77 today for the Japanese Grand Prix of Season 5, round number 14. If you have of course missed any of the previous videos, then recommend go and check them out in the description below. There's a link to the playlist there, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. See plenty more episodes of the Driver Career Mode on F1 20 and F1 2021 as well. Yes, especially the fact I'm also trying to get as close to 500 subscribers before F1 2021 comes out. So if you have not yet subscribed, then please do. It's the big red button in the video. It massively helps me out. But anyway, as you would seen on screen as I was talking, R&D is going well. We've got one final upgrade pretty much on the engine, and then that's pretty much, apart from two minor upgrades on the engine that I don't have control over, that's pretty much us having a fully maxed out car. And then it will just be to add durability, which hasn't been that bad this year. I mean, yes, I've been running 25% races, so I think maybe in a 50% race we might have probably struggled for parts, but 25% we've only got that one upgrade from the thing. But there we are, confirmation there. We're already maxed out on the aero and the chassis departments quite a few rounds ago, and now we pretty much maxed out. The last fuel upgrade is on the car, which sure, hopefully coming in time. Well, it doesn't really matter anyway. We don't really need the fuel anyway, to be honest. As we move to qualifying, then what can we do? Can we increase our good form? No, is the answer to that. It's, well, we're outside the top 10. It's back to normal here at Japan. A track that I've not really done that great on F1 2020. The tyres just don't. I like to do multiple laps at the start. Can't do that because the tyres overheat. So we move through then. We're not really improving on this lap. We were down in P13, making up a huge amount of time in there, 3/10 into the final couple of corners. But then out of the final corner, we've lost 1/10 of a second. That's a big amount of time lost at the end. And in the end, it's only P12. See what the timings were in just a moment. But Vettel, as usual, fastest, but that would have been enough for P10 probably. Not that we potentially want to be in P10, because the tyres, as I said, do overheat around here in Sector 1. Yeah, Leclerc as well, lofty heights up in P4, Vettel a long way ahead. So yes, Seitz is down here in 9th place as well. We'll see what we can do. Time for the race, today's Japanese Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. I'd like to talk a bit about Luca Giotto. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, and Magnussen, Bottas, Ocon, Sainz, and Lando Norris, Stroll, and a Ferrari, Nicholas Latifi, and Russell, Kvyat, Joe, Nick De Vries, and Nobuharu Matsushita, Giovinazzi, and Luca Giotto. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
We're still in with a chance to win the Constructors' title, so let's make this happen in the last 3 races.
I'm sure, Jeff, I'd like to go over the constructors, but we're very much focused on the Drivers' Championship, Jeff. You know, the one we're leading at the moment. But anyway, it's going to be a one-stop. I'm going to start on mediums because the soft tyres just overheat, and I don't fancy going through that. The AI don't get that on this game, which is so unfortunate. Let's fight for the lights. Come on then for the Japanese Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go, and it's a good start, better than Stroll in the Aston Martin. We're going to go around the outside of Sainz, which is a crucial move as well, and Ocon going into turn 1 side by side with Ocon. Ocon though comes back the inside, he gets the better traction. We try and put Ocon off through the S section as Norris tries to go us as well, but nothing doing. We're up into P9, which is very good for us as Leclerc has had a very good start, so he's ahead of Alex Albon. Up into P3 as well, so hopefully Leclerc can get his second podium, because he had that rare one at Bahrain. He's not in the championship fight as well, so we're looking for him to really help us as we come back on board with us. Tyres are overheating on the front left, and Jeff decides.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
What is that strategy, Jane? What have you been smoking on that pit wall, Jeff? What are you up to, mate? But anyway, enough about Jeff. We're on board with Sainz, who's having a look at his former teammate Lando Norris in the McLaren. He's going to try and go around the outside of Norris through 130. It's a comfortable move for the Mercedes driver, and he's up into P10. As Magnussen now has an issue, so he's slowing up Ocon, and as you can see, the gap to the front runners, the train behind Leclerc, has disappeared up the road a little bit again. Ocon's going to go down the left hand side, we're going to go down the right hand side of Magnussen. We're going to swoop Magnussen. He tries to have a little bit of a tyre bang with us, but in the end we force him out and move up into P8. Very nice manoeuvre there. Magnussen obviously never the one to give it the space in real life and in game, and eventually he yields with his failing car, as he says, as we now through on those mediums, and he's going to slow up Sainz, fortunately. And now we're having a look at Ocon. We're a lot closer coming out of the final corner. I suspect Ocon's got a bit of tyre wear, and we're going to come through turn 1. Now we've gone wide, and that's just how the car really doesn't have the right balance for me in this on this track. Really, that just clearly shows the oversweep we have. So we can have another go at the end of lap number 8. We're going to try it down the inside, but Ocon closes the door, and we retain what is now P5 as a couple of people come and make their pit stops. And we're going to be coming in at the end of lap number 8. We'll try and cut the corners. We're close to Ocon coming in, and Ocon slowed down, and we've lost a bit. What are you doing?
Cannot be serious!
So this is a replay of what happened, and Ocon, I just think he goes, I don't know what he's too slow coming in. So it's cost us a front wing, because imagine the turn in through sector 1. And this is going to cost us big time. It's 11.2 seconds, very slow. There's a Haas that's coming in, and they're the slowest car on the grid in this current career mode. Williams, Kvyat, has come out ahead of myself, and I think that's Giotto coming past, and Zoe as well. So we've lost out big time. It's about damage limitation now. We're on the soft tyres. What can we do? Well, we're going to start out with Luca Giotto down the inside, coming in through 130R, my new favourite overtaking spots, one inside of 130R, thank you very much. Next up, Danny Kvyat, lap number 9, can we get him and Guan Yu Zhou at the same time? DRS, open DRS, and it's just going to stream past Kvyat. Russell comes out of it. We try and take a bit of curving to go side by side through Zhou, and Zhou eventually yields. And we're up into P14. Next up is George Russell, coming through the latter half of the section down the inside. We don't think about going up the inside of the hairpin, but Russell closed the door, but he's slow on the exit. We're going to get the Rich Mixon overtake mode while we still got it in the F1 game, side by side through towards Spoon. Thank you very much. Up into P13. think that's Magnussen who's actually up ahead as we come onto the back of of Nicholas Latifi in the other Williams, who got his first points last time out. This time though it's not enough of him, and Stroll tries to squeeze us to the walls. Nick De Vries is out the session with an engine failure, but Stroll, we do get past, but unfortunately after that we overtook Stroll. The tyres just went off, started overheating, and Magnussen stretched his gap out again, which is so annoying really. That we've got that MG UK is running a little bit high, but as I say, we're going to have a fresh. As I've not really mentioned this, but I've saved the final engine components for this final 2 rounds. So across the line, then no points, disappointing.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in
Wow.
Occon's
Occon's the strategy was set. We would have been solid 6th place, maybe pushing it, maybe. I don't know. Ocon actually, well, no, we would have been 7th, because I think we could have probably got Ocon. We were ahead of Sainz, ahead of Norris as well, but we lost that in the end because Ocon decided to go 2 miles an hour into the pits. So very frustrating there, but we live and learn. Really. It was damage limitation. Sainz only gained 4 points on us, so it's not really that bad. Albon and Verstappen 2nd and 3rd, so it's 14 points to Alex Albon because Sainz had a terrible run, but we're still 14 points with 2 rounds to go. Is something we can work with. Mexico and Brazil are better tracks for me than Japan and Singapore, and we won at Singapore, so we'll see what we can do in the next episode on Monday as well. Sainz moving down to 3rd. Will Verstappen be able to bring himself in and Bottas for a late charge? We'll have to wait and see. In terms of the constructors, we are closing. We're only 38 points behind Red Bull, but is that a little bit too late? Has Vettel woken up too late? Because of course he did win today, but to help us out and take him maximum
Good
points.
day today. Let's have your take on it.
Wasn't a good day, Claire.
Is there a hint of jealousy in seeing your teammate up there on the podium? Or are you happy?
I'm happy for them because they're taking points off our rivals. It's as simple as that.
Your teammate is up on the podium today. This is a
You've
great
already
day
mentioned
for the
that,
team,
Claire.
isn't it?
But yes, I mean, he was good today. He was on the podium, and hopefully we can be joining him on the podium on Monday.
Do you have any comments about this team?
Alfa Romeo, they've been doing okay. The Russell's overdriven the car at some points, but I'd like them to do. They just invested a little bit, then they would actually be good. As Claire has an irrelevant question there, and hopefully we'll soon be seeing the back of her in F1 2021. Bearing in mind, I did say goodbye in F1 20 at the end of F1 2019, and she still came back. So, yes, we got a fuel injection. That final upgrade on the fuel side is coming in for the next round as well at Mexico. As well, as you can see here, we're just putting these old components on. We don't really need to put the old components on because we've got those fresh units on the 4 of the 6 departments. The energy store and the turbo are the only 2 that we don't really have fresh ones. We don't really need to worry about those. But yes, well, it's definitely still open. We can win next time out in Mexico on Monday. We'll have to wait and see. But if you have enjoyed this video of the F1 2020 Driver Career Mode, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel for new. See plenty more episodes of Driver Career Mode. I will eventually reveal who I'm going with for F1 2021 in a video, I think on the Monday before F1 2021 comes out. So you've got to wait another month for that, unfortunately. But you guys do get to enjoy it as we prepare for the one final season of 10 races. But yes, until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.